LCKs where we're finding out a lot of weird things, I'd say, about this strange family. Now we're investigating the reception hall. This is the reception. So let's take a look at some stuff. I know we got the key over there. It's another beautiful day outside, isn't it? Yeah. If only it wasn't the scene of a murder, we could really enjoy it. True.
How are they getting up on this thing? Is there like some stairs or a lift? Like what is?
Well, there's stairs to get into this whole vehicle. We don't mind. Whoa! I didn't think you could cleaning. It's more like we're wiping away all the sadness stuck to this airship. Wow! Talk about devoted. I guess we've checked out everything of interest in this area.
What was I go look at the pegable that she put back together?
Yeah, the thing is I can't even find that pegable. Because that's not the one.
She put it together.
I don't think she did. Hey, take a look at that door. I wonder where it goes. Shall we open it up and see? Wait, please don't open that. It's the emergency escape hatch. That leads directly outside. You'll fall to your death. Phew, that was a close one, huh, Maya? I'll say. Oops.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. Here's the broken lantern, all patched up. I do mean patched.
I thought that wheel had blood on it.
Emma said this was some of her best work, so I know she put a lot of effort into it. It was pretty smashed up. It must have been a lot of work to piece it back together. Well, she gets an A for effort at any rate. Huh? This wheel handle on the back has some blood on it. There we go. It looks like somebody gripped it with a bloody hand. Maybe the blood got there when the killer was putting old Doom and Gloom's body inside. Do you see anything else worth noting? Well, there's only one of the lanterns over there. So it might be a good idea to really compare the two later.
How later do you want to make that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think so. Because now it's... This is the unbroken Pegable Lantern. This is the one that Emma restored. I wouldn't say they look exactly the same, more that they're made up of the same parts. Wait a minute, what is it, Maya? I think there's something off about this Pegable. Just about everything about it looks off to me. I'm not quite sure what it is, but some detail isn't quite right.
No one reading is right.
Well, definitely the wings seem different. I know, it's this, right? What? Where?
And we're blue.
I've got it. The angle of that wing is different, and it's attached all wrong. Well done, Nick. I could have told you that. I mean, there's something more subtle. Something that feels just slightly... You know what I mean? No, not really. Still, maybe it's... Shape of the horns, or the ears. I wish we could look at the other one. I guess the color of the wheel handle did look different to me. Look, it's the wheel handle. It's a different color altogether. Yeah. Yeah, they're on different sides. I've got the inside and outside wheel handle switched around. Oh wow, you're right. And there's blood here on this handle as if somebody gripped it with a bloody hand. Right, which means that the blood got on the handle from inside the lantern.
But Mr. Winfrey had one here.
Yes, he did. Do you think the blood got there when the killer was putting the body in the lantern? It's really hard to say at this point. Phew, well, I think we've checked out everything relevant to this case. What are you two doing here? Wait, what are you doing here? Soren, shouldn't you be resting in bed? You're injured. How do you know about that? Never mind. My notebook. Have you seen my notebook? I can't find it anywhere. My notebook. I need my notebook. What's the matter with him? My notebook.
All their secret planning stuff over there.
Yeah, the patents and all that. Master Soren. Master Soren, I told you to stay in bed. My notebook. Here you go. Oh, he's going to see the blood, though. Yes, this is it. So Soren gets emotionally unstable without a notebook of his? Phew, wow! Looks like he's calmed down now. Soren, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? I cannot allow you to do that. What if his wound were to open up again? He needs to rest. I guess you're right. Now, if you will excuse us. Master Soren, let us retire. All right. There they go. Pierce is right. I guess he really isn't in any condition to be questioned. But let's go back to the agency and sort through what we've learned. We're back. Anybody here? Oh, hi, Bob. Trucy. I guess you could say that I'm taking a short break. But enough about me. What about the investigation? Did you find out anything? Well, it turns out that the third person Ellen says she saw at the crime scene might have been Soren Sprocket. What? Really? I always thought he seemed suspicious. Thing is, by the time Soren got to the Thista deck, the murder had already occurred, apparently. No way, I don't buy that, not for a second. It's a cover-up. Cover-up, I tell you. That's certainly a possibility. And as a lawyer, it's certainly a possibility I have to pursue, but what? It's your job, right? So pursue the heck out of it. Just do it. Yeah, but is that really what's best for Ellen? Soren could be found guilty if the truth comes out tomorrow. But if we don't pursue this possibility, Ellen could be found guilty instead. Oh man. Either way, it sure doesn't spell out happily ever after for the two of them. So what are you going to do, Mr. Wright? I can't let an innocent person get convicted, so I guess all I can really do is pursue the truth. Even if it ends up devastating Ellen. What a tough call to make. Still, there's always a chance, right? Maybe something will come up during the trial that will save their marriage. I hope so, I really do. Well, Maya, let's go. Break the news to Ellen, you mean? Yep. Mr. Wright, please take me with you. I bet I could help you counsel Ellen through this piece of bad news. Athena, I appreciate the offer, but don't you have somewhere else to be? Do I? Athena, what are you doing here? I've been looking all over for you. Come on now, let's get back to practicing. No, wait, my body can't take it anymore. Boss, you gotta help me. A lawyer always keeps their promises, Athena. But boss... If you bail on me one more time, Athena, I'm going to use a real blade on you. Eee! Sorry, Athena, but somebody's got to do it. Better you than me, though. Hang in there, kiddo. Come on, Maya. We better get going. So it seems that this case is a way to make it so like it's like the old time, where it's Maya, Phoenix, Edgeworth. And so they have Athena and Trucy doing silly stuff. Still in her bio dress. Hello, Ellen. How did your investigation go, Mr. Wright? Before I answer that, I need to ask you something. Was Soren with you when Mr. Bloomsbury attacked you in the reception hall? I'm sorry I kept it from you. I was afraid that he'd come under suspicion if I told you. So I kept quiet about it. I'm really sorry. I see. I thought it was probably something like that. Listen, Ellen, I'm afraid I have to make a very difficult decision based on what I found out. What kind of decision? This is very hard for me to say, but the mysterious person you saw at the scene of the crime was most likely Soren. What?
surprised by that.
In other words, in court tomorrow, I'm afraid I'll have to propose the possibility that Soren is the true culprit. No. Soren is innocent. No. But don't you see, if I don't try to pursue that line of thought, you'll be found guilty. No, no. No. Please, Ellen, calm down. Well. That must be her new book. Soren just can't be found guilty. I'd much rather I be found guilty instead. Ellen, you can't let yourself think like that. But no! Marriage is for life, right? Do you really think you can run away from the truth and still be happy with him? Wah! You're not married, so how can you possibly understand? Sometimes you've just got to do whatever it takes to make things work. But, Nick, you talk to her. Hey, don't just dump this all on me. Mr. Wright, I'm innocent and Soren is too. So please, prove our innocence in court. I'll certainly do everything in my power. I just hope he doesn't lose control like this in court tomorrow. So sweet.
I couldn't hold out that long over.
I mean, I'm not starting to wonder, but it's like, well, they could both be innocent if Pierce did it, since he has this control or whatever. But Pierce is so handsome, I don't actually want it to be him. I know, that's a stupid reason. He's like weirdly adorable to me.
I wonder if he was the surgeon that was gonna marry.
Yeah.
Sister.
Like all of a sudden he came in, a year ago. I mean, I do wonder, because that way nobody did it. They're both innocent. They both live happily ever after, and blah, 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 blah. So the one thing we found out yesterday is that Soren was there at the crime scene. I only hope I can get some testimony from him that'll get to the heart of the matter. Mr. Wright. Good morning, Ellen. Look, I'm afraid you might not like the result of today's trial. Nevertheless, don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Soren is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Ellen, please, try and get a hold of yourself. I believe in Soren with all my heart, so how dare you doubt him? Regardless of which one of them is found guilty today, it's going to be devastating for Ellen, isn't it? We'll just have to do everything we can. That's the best we can do, you know? The trial is about to begin, Mr. Wright. Alright, let's go, Maya. Yeah. We got this, Maya. And Edgy Poo. Oh, Edgy Poo, help me! I love old bag. Court is back in session for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Let's see now. Where were we? In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprocket family's conspiracy to cover up the murder of Dumas Bloomsbury with a second reception. Taking advantage of our collective shock, the defense, as usual, made a nonsensical claim, namely that there was a third person present who struck the victim.
Objection!
Hey, don't try to make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the existence of a third person, and further investigation has only proven her statement to be true. Then I presume the defense intends to focus on proving the identity of this third person. Is that all right with you, Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, indeed, Your Honor. In fact, I predict that the defense will most likely attempt to name Mr. Soren Sprocket as the true culprit. How did you... The driver during the accident that killed Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had a motive to murder Mr. Bloomsbury. That's what you plan to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright? Am I that transparent? Come now, Mr. Wright, did you really think the police would uncover this information? Congrats on getting it in one, Mr. Edgeworth. But, oh, Ellen. You're wrong! Soren didn't do it, he's innocent! Miss Wyatt, please. He's innocent, I tell you. What is this, Mr. Wright? I thought your claim about the existence of a third person came from the defendant. It did. This is just a minor hiccup. Did you not discuss your strategy for today with the defendant, Mr. Wright? Starting off on the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan. It would appear that the defense is in disarray. Therefore, the best way to clear things up is to ask Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call Soren Sprocket to the stand. What? Very well, bailiff. Please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand.
Looks like a kid.
Yeah. How old is he again? Let's see, she's 21. He's 24. And this guy is 1 year younger than this. Whew. Ow. There's something written on this paper airplane. Let's see. Soren Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Aviation. Mr. Sprocket, please give your answers in words, not paper airplanes. Now then, Mr. Sprocket, please tell that doubting lawyer there what really happened at the time of the crime. Well, Mr. Sprocket? Mr. Sprocket. Alright. You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception? When Ellen and I were in the reception hall, right? Not even the power of the court can stop him from marching to the beat of his own drum. You know what that reminded me of when Edward kept saying Mr. Sprocket? Mr. Pocket! I'm gonna get your gold, Mr. Pocket! What was that, the Ballad of Buster Scruggs? I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall and I collapsed on the floor. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumas was already... I don't want to believe it, but it must have been Ellen. Nothing else makes sense. Wait just a minute here. You actually think Miss Wyatt killed the victim? That's right. Dumas was killed by Ellen. This is unbelievable. How can you suspect your bride, the woman you love? Whoa, he's got his teeth.
Objection!
The truth can be cruel. Miss Wyatt, you must be very upset. Is there anything you wish to say? Oh, that's a first. No, I can't believe this, Soren. I thought that at least you would believe in me. The best way now to show your love for your groom is to admit your guilt and try to atone. Soren.
Hold it!
Mr. Edgeworth, I haven't even cross-examined the witness yet. And quit picking on the clearly distraught. Yeah, that's so not cool, Mr. Edgeworth. A court is where we seek the truth. And the truth is unyielding, even to the truly pitiful. Mr. Edgeworth, I find it distasteful to make a lady cry. A 2, Your Honor. So what are you going to do, Nick? If the third person Ellen saw on the Vista deck was Soren, then we have to prove Soren was there at the time of the murder. I don't see any obvious inconsistencies in his testimony, but we have to push forward.
Hold it!
Please tell me everything you can about when you got stabbed. After the reception, Ellen and I were enjoying a moment alone in the reception hall. Then Dumas appeared and stabbed me. He grabbed Ellen and the timekeeper and left the reception hall. Did Mr. Bloomsbury say anything at that time? I don't remember. After I was stabbed, I was immobilized by the pain. I see.
Hold it!
The Vista deck, huh? But it was nighttime then. Could you really see them in the darkness? The moon was out, so I could see them clearly. From the looks of it, Dumas was trying to push Ellen and the timekeeper off the side. So you saw the defendant. About to be thrown off the airship, you say? That's right. In such a desperate situation, it would only be natural for her to fight for her life. And the murder weapon was right there within her grasp. Oh, this isn't going well at all. I'd rather do something fast.
Hold it!
I understand that your bride was in danger, but were you really able to move with a stab wound to the gut? I was desperately trying to push the pain out of my mind. I see. So adrenaline kicked in and gave you strength. Is that right? I don't see much of anything in this statement I can refute. That's right. I almost passed out several times as I made my way to the Vista deck.
Hold it!
Are you absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket, that by the time you got to the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? Yes. But the Vista deck is just on the other side of the glass windows in the reception hall. Shouldn't you have been able to get there right away?
Objection!
Mr. Wright, have you investigated nothing? The only way to the Vista deck is to go to the hold and take the lift. No matter how much one hurries, it would take at least 10... well, that's unhelpful. But Soren had to have gotten there before the murder, or my claim won't stand. Do you have any ideas for me, Maya? It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hold than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? Can't leave anything. Wait a minute, I think Maya is onto something here. The lack of a certain something actually proves that Soren didn't go to the hold. What's the matter? Are you stumped already? No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. I know for a fact that Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold. You and your paper-thin bluffs. Mr. Sprocket's bloodstain on the lift proves he went through the hold. So what possible proof could you have that he did not in fact go through there? You want proof? You got it. You can do this, Phoenix. There's got to be proof that Soren didn't go through the hold. Well, Mr. Wright? Yeah, I think like the lift, go into the hold. Like, so let me see what Maya said again. It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hold than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? The lack of a certain something actually proves that Soren didn't go to the hold. So there should be something that's not there?
Something that's not in the hold.
Something like that, yeah.
The table that's now in the hold wasn't in the hold when he murdered him. Wait, what's the question?
We have to show that he didn't go through the hold because a certain something wasn't there. And you think it is the broken lantern?
Well, I thought it was, but I think he got murdered in the hold and then brought up there.
Very possible, I think. And because I think that the blood isn't Soren's, it's
Another part.
Bloomsbury. Can't wait to find out what the pterodactyl is.
Yeah.
Oh! That! The whole entry form.
Take that!
As anyone can see from the hold entry record, there's absolutely no mention of Soren Sprocket entering the hold.
Because he used her hold.
The defense asserts that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the Vista deck. You can assert all you want, Mr. Wright, but can you actually prove another route exists? Hey man, you gotta prove that he was there! I prove the existence of another route to the Vista deck, you ask. Can we?
Yeah, they turned it off the boost.
Ah.
So can he override it?
Oh. Oh. I can prove it, even if it's just a bluff.
Or he used your card.
Yeah. Anything that can prove the existence of a faster route to the Vista deck. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Show us how Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck. Mr. Sprocket made for the Vista deck through here. So is that side door then?
Take that!
To save his bride from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way along the outside wall to the Vista deck. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? That would certainly be a much faster route to the Vista deck. I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you can muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get from the reception hall to the Vista deck. One slip, and that's all it would take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death. I have to agree, the defense's claim is really stretching it. I understand how it sounds, Your Honor. But at this point, it's too early to definitively say that he didn't go that way. So that's what you're going with then, I take it. Of course, Your Honor. This is real life, Mr. Wright, not some cinematic drivel or comic book. Do you have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us of your claim? I do. Are you sure, Nick? Kind of. Actually, I have nothing, so I'll just have to wing it somehow. I know what it is. What do you base your theory that Mr. Sprocket made his way along the outside? My theory that he was able to go along the outside wall despite the dangers based on power of authority, power of love, power of might. Power of love. Save the bride he loves, the groom risked his life and rushed to her side. Mr. Sprocket was able to make it to the Vista deck despite the danger, because of the power of love. Power of love? That love is a source of strength that can help one overcome any obstacle. I think I can relate, thanks to my own long, happy marriage. Wow, he actually seems to be buying it. The power of love, you say? That kind of a logical argument is hardly viable in a court of law. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I'm afraid not, Mr. Edgeworth. You should never underestimate the power of love. You'll understand one day when you get married, which I won't. Exactly what is so wrong with wishing to remain unwed? Way to set him off, Your Honor. Never mind all this unscientific nonsense. Are you aware, Mr. Wright, that at the time of the crime, there was a huge propeller turning at full speed between the hatch and the Vista deck? Even if a person were to go outside through the hatch, they'd be blown away in an instant. Ah! Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright? A huge spinning propeller, you say? In that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible. Alright, I should have known. Nick, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Right? Right. I feel like I just saw Mia looking out at me through Maya's eyes. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you gaping at me like a giant sunfish? Thank you, Maya. You just helped me remember something really important. There it is. That's that fearless smile I was looking for. Now give us a mind-blowing theory, just like you always do. I have to turn my thinking around. Instead of wondering how Soren could have moved past that huge propeller, I have to think about what would have made it possible for him to do so. It only makes that ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore, please do hurry and get your ruling before... Mr. Edgeworth, it's still far too early to discount my theory. What are you talking about? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded it to pieces. But if we think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it. Stop trying to stall Mr. Wright, and show us how it could have even been remotely possible, if at all. I must agree with Mr. Edgeworth. Very well, Your Honor. There must have been a way. Some way that Soren could have moved along the wall in spite of the propeller. Now then, Mr. Wright, what specifically would have made it possible? This is how it would have been possible for Mr. Sprocket to get to the Vista deck. Got to the deck some other way. Airship wasn't flying, but the propellers were broken. What do you think, babe? I don't believe so at all.
Airship wasn't flying?
I think so. What allowed Mr. Sprocket to go along the outside wall in spite of the propellers is the location of the flying chapel at the time of the crash. The location of the flying chapel, but wasn't it flying high in the sky? No, Your Honor, I'm afraid it wasn't. What? Then where was it? At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but more to the ground. What? And if the airship wasn't flying, then that means the propellers weren't turning. Oh. Yeah. It reminds me of that guy from, Boris, from GoldenEye. Every time I got nervous, he would click his pen a lot. Anyway, you're dozing off, so we might have to...
I don't feel good. I feel like I have a headache. How long did we play?
Not long whatsoever. 31 minutes. Yeah, we'll have to... I'm gonna need you to be, like, awake. So...
Oh, you have a headache too?
Nope, not anymore. I took Tylenol.
I did too.
So I am going to just stop the broadcast there, and we're going to figure out how the heck Soren, clicky guy here, was able to get to the Vista deck. Well, I think we have an idea now, but we will find out next time.